Hello, drama lovers. Welcome back to K-pop world. There are moments when time feels like it's running too fast, but there are also moments when time seems frozen, silent, tense, as if the world is holding its breath, waiting for something or someone to breathe first. And tonight, the world seems to be holding its breath for Wang Yibo. Just 15 minutes ago, the news broke. Not many words, just a single update shared among fans, media outlets, and social platforms. But its impact felt like lightning, striking quietly and without warning. Wang Yibo's condition has deteriorated significantly. A brief sentence, but enough to stop thousands in their tracks. Enough to make people freeze, their hands still, their hearts pounding. And in that stillness, they tried to understand what was truly happening. Because this wasn't just another health update. This wasn't the kind of information you could scroll past. This was about someone who had always stood as a symbol of calm, quiet strength, and tireless dedication. Wang Yibo is not just an actor, not just an idol. He is a representation of sincerity, rarely loud, but always felt. And when someone like him suddenly ends up in the ICU for more than 3 consecutive days, everyone knows this isn't something you take lightly. But tonight, it's not just Wang Yibo's condition drawing attention. Another name suddenly surfaced, not due to any rumor, not for some major project, but because of something far more intimate, his presence. Xiao Zhan, the only person reported to have been with Wang Yibo at the hospital from the very first day the news broke. Not as a celebrity, not as a public figure, but as someone who, for reasons never publicly announced, chose not to leave, chose not to walk away, chose not to speak to the media, not to give clarifications. He was just there, waiting, accompanying, watching. And 15 minutes ago, just as the news of Yibo's deteriorating condition was spreading, Xiao Zhan posted something on his personal account. One sentence, no photos, no emojis, no additional explanation. To anyone reading this, please send your prayers now. That line held a weight that words couldn't carry. He didn't mention Yibo by name, didn't even use the word sick. But anyone who had followed their journey for years knew it wasn't just a random post. It was a cry for help, a plea, and perhaps a reflection of fear too deep to say out loud. Behind the scenes, much has happened. The earlier reports claiming Yibo's condition had stabilized now seem like a short-lived reassurance. A source from the hospital, requesting anonymity, revealed that Yibo's blood pressure had dropped drastically earlier in the morning. He no longer responded when called. His breathing had become shallow, and doctors quickly took action. Additional oxygen was administered. Monitors tightened. More staff entered with unnamed devices. Tension filled the air. And amid the chaos, one figure remained, still but unwavering. Xiao Zhan, standing by the hospital bed, watching the fragile figure covered in tubes, with tears brimming silently at the corners of his eyes. He didn't embrace, didn't cry out loud, but his expression, it was the kind only someone who has ever loved in silence could understand. There were no cameras capturing that moment, no official documentation, but an intern nurse described it with trembling eyes. He called out Yibo's name quietly, not expecting an answer, just hoping to be heard. That moment made the entire room feel like no one else existed. No cameras, no public pressure, just 2 names, bound together in ways no article or online comment could ever truly explain. Outside the hospital, the atmosphere was no less emotional. Fans began gathering, not in crowds. They knew better than to cause a scene in such a fragile moment. But they came, with candles, with prayers, with scarves bearing Wang Yibo's name. Some even carried small signs. To Xiao Zhan, thank you for staying. Twitter, Weibo, Instagram, all platforms flooded with hashtags. Hashtag pray for Yibo. Hashtag stay strong Xiao Zhan. Hashtag Yizhan unity. And amid it all, one question kept echoing. What is really going on? How did Yibo's condition suddenly worsen? And why is it only Xiao Zhan who remains by his side? No one has a definite answer. Media outlets have yet to release an official statement. Yibo's management merely stated that his condition is being closely monitored and remains unstable. But beneath the silence of those institutions lies an undeniable truth. Public anxiety has reached its peak. Because this is no longer just about two celebrities. This is about two souls who once, and maybe still, shared a space far deeper than what the public eye could see. Two hearts that once comforted each other in unspoken ways. A bond that fans continue to interpret through subtle smiles, fleeting glances, or steps silently taken behind the curtain. This story is not about fame, not about fan shipping. It's about something far more human. The fear of losing someone too soon, and the hope that clings on even when everything feels like it's falling apart. Longtime fans of both Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan say there has never been a moment in the past 5 years where they weren't quietly supporting each other, even if rarely seen together in public. In an industry that often forces people to pretend, they chose to remain silent but present. And now, in this critical moment, that presence feels more real than ever. Time moves slowly tonight. The eyes of the world seem to turn toward one place. The ICU room where Wang Yibo is still fighting. And next to him, a man who has long been seen as strong, now placing all his hope in strangers across the world. We don't know how this will end. We don't know if tonight will bring good news or a heartbreak too heavy to bear. But one thing is clear. When someone like Xiao Zhan, who almost never asks anything of the public, says, "Send your prayers now," that means this is the most fragile moment he's ever faced. And perhaps the only way we can respond is by listening, by sending our prayers, genuinely, with the hope that Wang Yibo will open his eyes again, that the voice he hears in his sleep is the voice of someone who never left him, that when he wakes, he'll know he was never alone. Hello, drama lovers. This isn't just the latest update. This is a real story in motion, and we are all witnessing it unfold. Let's hold our curiosity with respect. Let's pray without needing to know everything. And let's wait for the next update, with the hope that the next chapter brings light. For Wang Yibo, for Xiao Zhan, and for every heart trembling quietly tonight. If you have prayers, thoughts, or memories about them, write them in the comments. Let's get through this night together. Until the next update,